right, so hello everyone. Welcome to another exciting day of masterclasses hosted by the IAPC&M. I'm your host, Elena Nedeva, APC, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. Today, November 18th, we are hosting 4 complimentary masterclass series dedicated to how coaches can tap into their inner leader. We are starting today with the lovely Catalina Flore's masterclass, Leading from Vitality. Catalina is an accredited fellow coach with the IAPC&M, executive coach and leadership strategist, a thinking partner to leaders of leaders. She coaches and trains senior executives, entrepreneurs, and coaches to get better at leadership and well-being, helping them create clarity, resilience, and impact while thriving personally and professionally. With 20 years as a trusted thinking partner to her clients, Catalina combines over 30 years of international banking. So she's a former VP in international banking and business expertise with deep knowledge in leadership development, psychology, neuroscience, health, and mindfulness, focusing on mind, body, and soul to create transformative experiences for her clients, helping them become more agile leaders. Catalina has coached and trained thousands of professionals. Her clients describe her approach as transformative, practical, and deeply human. Catalina's masterclass today explores how personal vitality, the alignment of body, mindset, emotions, and behaviors drives leadership effectiveness and organizational health. Catalina introduces the Leadership Vitality Loop, connecting 8 lifestyle-based pillars: nutrition, movement, sleep, stress, purpose, relationships, and more, with the 8 leadership skills domains. Participants will discover how to move from leading on empty to leading with energy integrity, creating thriving clients, teams, and businesses. Without further ado, over to you, Catalina. Thank you for being with us today.
Oh, thank you so much, Elena, for this beautiful introduction, and welcome everyone that is live with us on various platforms. And I see also Jonathan. Hi, Jonathan. Great to have you here. And it's a pleasure to be part of this day dedicated to tapping into your inner leader and in my case, inspire you to lead from vitality and to co-create together an experience to discover how personal energy, how alignment and self-awareness shape the foundation for empowered leadership. And let me start by sharing my slides. All right. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, that's wonderful. So before I get into this presentation, let me tell you how I got into being interested in vitality. 20 years ago, actually 23 years ago, I was a young mother of 2 living in a different country than my native country and very ambitious to build up my career. And my children I had 2 by that time, were very small. So I was running and trying to do it all. And not realizing that I was depleted. And one day I was feeling so tired and I felt like crying. And, I went to the doctor of the company and I said, I don't know what's going on with me, but I feel like crying. And he looked at me and he said, you are exhausted. So you have to go out of the bank and for a month, and every single day do something that is nice for you. And I left and I was thinking, oh, my whole life was about external, about achieving, about building. And I had suddenly some time to look inside and to look at my life and to look at leadership. For me, leadership meant leadership skills, and that's it. And actually that I realized that I was going on the verge of burning out. And this saved me because I've started to heal. I've started to be strategic about how I'm in my life. I got the help that I needed. I realized how my thinking of perfectionism at that time, with a very strong inner critic, helped me build up a very successful career, but it was eroding my energy and long-term vitality and long-term life. And actually, this is the way that, the one of the doors that got me into coaching at some point. So I'm very happy. So I dedicated my life in learning about vitality and teaching others, in creating something that started, my puzzle, something that started intuitively 23 years ago. And then I'm happy that elements that I will present that came from personal experience now are backed by science. So let's get together in this in this journey. So refueling the leader within. I'm wondering if you ever felt a mismatch between your capability and your energy. And if you did, you are in the right place. Just put it in the chat and let me know. Can we see the chat here, Elena? Have you ever felt this mismatch between capacity and energy? Because today, yes, indeed, today it's not about fixing you, but it's about refueling the leader within you. And I invite you to look at leadership a little bit differently through the lens of vitality, because your inner leader, there is in all of us, there is an authentic, a wise, a grounded part of us, which is not just a mindset. It's something that lives in our physiology, in our emotions, in our energy. And when all these three align, leadership flows naturally. But when they don't, even small things can feel hard. So we will explore together how to sustain performance without depletion, how presence becomes a strategic tool, and how your own energy creates health in your ecosystem, whether that's your team, your clients, or your business. I mean, normally we have lots of coaches that attend our master classes, but this master class is also open to leaders. So most of my clients come from the corporate world, but also entrepreneurs. So this is an inclusive session for all of you. So what are we going to do today? That's our roadmap. And this we are going to follow today. And let's take a big deep breath and dive in. And why does it matter? You'll discover how physiology, how your vitality, so physical, mental, emotional, fuels your leadership clarity, your confidence, and your influence. And we'll learn the 8 pillars of leadership vitality and how they directly power the leadership skills that you probably practice every single day. And you will also see how your own state of energy and presence shapes the trust, the clarity, and learning within your own ecosystem, the people and system you lead. And my goal is to leave you not just inspired, but also realign with at least one clear decision on how to reclaim and protect your energy integrity, and also to inspire you to start creating or maybe updating your own vitality plan. And you will leave also with clarity on where to begin. So a starting point for reconnecting to this system that makes leadership possible at a higher level. Stories like mine are quite common. I see a lot with my clients. I have many clients, women in their 40s, that and men as well, that they go through the life cycle of children getting out of the house or teenager, parents getting older, hormonal shifts for women, or a lot is happening while many balls are in the air. They are trying to be at their peak of their career and trying to perform at their best. So there are many things playing in this. So we are going to go together through this triad of vitality, the pillars of leadership vitality, the ecosystem health, and how the internal state shapes it, and 8 attitudes of vitality that they relate to leadership and vitality. So how's my experience? You see, I've witnessed this pattern across 3 decades. When I was in international banking, in executive roles, and working also with senior leaders that navigate complex organizational landscapes. Skills are not enough when the system is empty. Strategy falters when energy fails, and communication becomes hollow when presence is depleted. Does it make sense? Just can I see by a raise of hand if this makes sense to you? Yeah. You see, vitality is the foundation. It's not a luxury. It's not self-indulgent. It is the infrastructure that makes everything else possible. So that is very, very important. Many of us, the entrepreneurs, executive coaches, come to coaching to grow our influence, to improve communication, to lead change. Yet, most are not thriving. Most we are surviving, and what's missing isn't a skill, it's energy integrity. So today we'll explore how vitality actually becomes your most strategic leadership asset. It's the bridge between knowing and becoming. And when people decide to become better leaders or better coaches, they usually start here with skills. And these 8 domains that you see are a visible part of leadership. And they are essential, but they depend on something deeper. And that's the human operating system that powers every skills. Because you can't be strategic in a sustainable way when you are sleep deprived. You can't inspire when your body is in a survival mode. You can't create trust in your teams when you're burned out. And that's very important to start thinking what is behind this in order to become better at all these skills. And by the way, as you see those, think about, just make a note, because we are start creating your plan. Where are you very good? Which leadership skills are you very good? And what is something you are working right now? You don't have to share, but just make a note for yourself. Where is something that you need to put more of your energy in terms of leadership skills? All right. I was talking about my acceleration towards burnout. That's not something that happened only to me. We know that burnout significantly impacts productivity among employees, and is evidenced by statistics like people that are on burnout, they are 63% higher chance to take a sick day and more actively seek a new job 2.6 times more. So there is a cost on living on emptiness. And think about the burnout costs about 300 billion annually in lost productivity and healthcare. And as I said, these employees are taking 2.6 times more likely to seek new roles. So there is a real cost of human. Creativity is lost, empathy is dulled, presence is diminished. There is no amount of skill that can compensate for an empty tank. So let's start creating this roadmap of vitality for effective leadership. I became tired many years ago. So you see tiredness, you see exhaustion, you start to see cynicism, ineffectivity. They are outwardly accomplished, but inwardly exhausted. They still perform, yet everything requires more effort. And as I said, at first it's the tiredness that creeps in, and then the cynicism, that's quiet detachment that turns curiosity into indifference, and eventually inefficacy, right? Effort without impact. And this is not incompetence, but it's depletion. And what is fading is vitality. It's that invisible current that fuels clarity, that fuels empathy and influence. Because that part in you, that calm, that grounded, that present one, that other trust, doesn't live in your to-do list, but it lives in your body, in your mindset, in your emotions. And again, when these three aligns, leadership feels effortlessly. So let's see, where are you on the vitality spectrum? And it's important understanding your position. It's crucial for your leadership. So when people get on the way to burnout, they move towards physical illness. And this is characterized by depletion, by chronic health issues, by constant fatigue, and leads to impaired performance and greatly compromised leadership capacity. Poor concentration, negative team dynamics, leading to negative team dynamics. Then we have the moderate wellness, if you want, and many people are here. So the individuals basically meet the basic requirements, but they lack vibrancy. Energy fluctuates, performance is inconsistent, and growth is limited. And they struggle to motivate. And where do we want to move? We want to move towards optimal wellness. That's our goal, to be there. It's a state of, thriving that sustain high energy, peak cognitive function, and robust resilience. And that is where we want to move step by step with kindness, because it will help us consistently have a high level output and to become innovative and to become inspired. Where are you now? Just make a note for yourself. It's very important to know your starting point. And let's move to the triad of vitality. As I was saying, the vitality rests on three interconnected systems that are in harmony. And when these align, leadership flows naturally. But when they fracture, small things feel impossibly heavy. When they disconnect, the resistance and reactivity take over. And we will be discussing about this throughout the class, because they are not, if you like, separate domains. They are one living system. And a shift in one immediately affects the others. So your body, your sleep, your breathing, your alignment in your posture, your nutrition, your energy, your mindset, your beliefs, the stories you tell yourself, your attitudes, how you look at challenges as opportunities or not, your emotions, how well you self-regulate, how well you connect with others. Very, very important. Think about in your case, which area is your best right now and which one needs more attention to work in your plan? Are you somebody that regulates very well, or there's some work to be done there? Are you somebody that catastrophizes a lot? What's your mindset? And the same, the physiology. Very, very important part of your leadership. Does it make sense? Just give me my hands up that I know that we are on the same page. Awesome, awesome, fantastic. So let's do something together. One simple way to align these systems is by managing transition, which many people do much less. And by the way, this practice helped me a lot in my life. We tend to be a lot of automatic pilot and not pay attention, especially on transitions, moving from one task to another, from one project meeting to another. And for some of you that, in the evening, look at their days and reflect on the days, sometimes it's difficult to remember what happened because we don't pay attention. And what I noticed when I started to do this practice, I started to remember more of my life. So that's beautiful. So let's think about like this. When you want to have more vitality, it's part of also connecting with life at in a different way. So the brain loves closure. When we finish a task, we finish a meeting, we finish a project, and there is no closure, we will keep carrying this throughout the day and at night, and we are going to start ruminate on it, and it will impact the quality of sleep and so on. So getting into the habit of closing what it's gone, taking the lesson and moving deliberately to the next one, it will help the brain now, okay, this is gone, it's put it in its place, and we move on to the next one. And we do this through the briefing, through the mind focus and mind, let's say, mind attention that we have. And everybody's doing it differently. But have a way of telling your brain and your system, okay, this, I close the task through breath, through compartmentalizing, whatever works for you. But you know that it's gone. There is a lesson, something you learn that you take over, you do it consciously, you recenter, and then you think, I'm going to the next one. What is one strength that I have that I want to bring here? So imagine, now we didn't do with this session, but imagine that you close whatever you've done before this masterclass. Imagine that you close that task, and maybe there is a lesson that you took forward. Think about it a few seconds. And as you connect with that lesson, just recenter and think, what strength do you want to bring to this masterclass for the time we have together? And deliberately be only here, not doing anything else, but bring your attention here. So what is one strength that you want to bring to this time together? Jonathan, if you unmute yourself, is it curiosity? Is it, I don't know, what is it? What is it for you? Or put it in the chat and Elena will read. Or Temi, yes.
While Jonathan is responding, could I also share?
Yes, please, Elena.
Sure. So, but first of all, thank you so much for sharing this simple yet very powerful technique for pausing. I reflected very quickly on what you shared. So one, the strength I would like to bring following the latest task I performed is being grounded.
Being grounded, beautiful.
Despite adversity.
Despite adversity, wonderful. And I see your face is different now when you speak this up. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you for noticing.
Grounded. You're welcome. Anything in the chat, Elena, or I move?
Not yet.
Okay.
But Tim,
All right.
If you allow me, 𝙘𝙖𝙣𝙩, feel free to unmute yourself if
you don't have to. It's
you
just
have,
if you want to. Yes. Yes.
And share. But Jonathan has actually put forward his answer, so I will read it out.
Yes.
So Jonathan says, I use a visualizing to prepare for all events. Grounding, thinking of 5 things you can see, hear, touch. Wow.
That is a very powerful one to bring you in the present moment. Great. Thank you so much. So using our senses to move from the realm of head, into the present moment. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So let us move to the 8 pillars of leadership vitality, because leadership is not just a cognitive skill set, it's a whole person capacity. And these are not just lifestyle tips, these pillars, but are leadership infrastructure. And actually, they decide whether your leadership skills are accessible when pressure rises. Because when pressure rises, the question is not, do you know how to lead in this moment? But it's the real question is your leadership accessible in this moment? And let's move to these 8 pillars of leadership vitality. And we're going to go through them. And as I said, I started with them intuitively. And I'm super happy that there is a lot of science, actually lifestyle medicine, that back up at least 6 of them. And they show us, how to stay away as much as possible from chronic conditions and be more vital. So this is more a holistic approach to health leadership that considers multiple aspects of well-being. All right. Nutrition, very much linked to our cognitive and strategic capabilities. Movement, and this is your exercising, but it's also movement, because emotion is created by motion. So our presence and stamina and our team leadership is affected by this. Our sleep, and the impact on communication, our stress optimization, our resilience and self-leadership, diminish of alcohol and other lifestyle substances to protect our clarity, relationship, meaningful relationship, building trust, and that touches our interpersonal skill of leadership, purpose in line with the values, and leading in an ethical way. Our natural rhythms, which help us spark creativity, be our best in innovation. Very, very important. You see, I was always fascinated. Okay, we take these pillars, we take these elements, but how are they connected directly to leadership? Very, very important. So let's look at the nutrition. It's part of nourishment. And The food and hydration are biochemical foundation on how we lead, because a hydrated brain thinks clearer and regulates emotion better and sustain attention longer. And leadership begins with physiological clarity. But how can someone find the right diet? Because some people focus on being very careful about eating, while others have a more relaxed attitude towards food, and others don't care at all. And some people are healthy eating animal foods, while others thrive on a vegetarian or vegan diet. And which is correct, because you have all these best-selling diet books that often disagree with each other. And the more extreme the diet, the more copies it sells. So, human beings, like every species, know that what they eat changes everything. And over time, people experimented, made mistakes, and slowly have started to realize that it's not about diet, but it's about a way of nourishing that works for you. You can't tell people what kind of relationship should they be in, or what kind of movies or music they are going to enjoy. So why is it should be acceptable to tell people what kind of food they should be eating? So food should be about the individual, their specific condition in life, not about theory, because what might be my food, it can be poison for somebody else, and the other way around. So that's very important to know, one piece. We know that the brain runs off glucose. Brain is small but consumes a lot of the energy. And the brain depends on a steady supply of glucose to stay sharp. And if your meal creates a stable blood sugar curve, you'll feel focused and calm and clear and steady. But if your meal causes a spike and crash, you might feel distracted, you might feel mentally foggy, and less patient and less decisive. And the crash often happens 2-3 hours after eating. It's important to know meals influence our neurotransmitters. So what you eat affects the serotonin, the dopamine, and other chemicals, which are connected to the motivation, to mood, to emotional regulation, and your stress response. And the energy availability affects executive function. And your prefrontal cortex, which is the leadership part of your brain, is sensitive to energy dips. So that's very important to be strategic about how you fuel yourself, if you like, and think about that your performance in this meeting, in this moment, reflects the food choices that you made 2-3 years ago. So based on your challenges and your lifestyle and what you need to accomplish in life, think about nutrition in a strategic way. Now, when we talk about movement and physical activity, leadership presence is not only communicated through words, but it's carried through the body, through our posture, and to our alignment. And movement influences how confidence, authority, and credibility are perceived. We can have, through movement and physical activity, higher stamina and more resilience and presence, and we can be able to sustain long hours. For instance, I'm going in 2 weeks, I'm going to the US to an event, to work at an event where will be 16, 17 hours long a day. So I'm in a period of preparing strategically for that event. So that's about, physical activity and everything to match the cycle of life or the monthly cycle you are in. So things that you maybe that work for you maybe 10 years ago might not work today. So be also strategic about things that work to sustain the level of energy that you need and to sustain your leadership at this time in your life. So it comes to serve you and not to work against you. And this will help you with your present. It will help you in movement throughout the day, nervous system calibration, your cognitive flexibility. Sometimes we get stuck in our thinking, and one of the best way to de-stuck is to have some water and to start moving, because this usually a stagnant body leads to stagnant thinking. So movement maintains clarity and forward momentum, and we can create more energies throughout the day. So think about how well you're doing at this one, and where can you bring more breaks, movement breaks throughout the day. Instead of thinking of snacks, think of movement snacks throughout the day as well. What about sleep? That's a big one, because, you know, I don't know if you grow up with things like overachievers. I will sleep when I'm dead or something, you know, like, who has time for sleeping right now? Luckily, science shows us sleep is not a luxury. It's a leadership infrastructure. I have this Aura ring that, taught me a lot about, things that I feel in the morning. How do I think I slept, and how I actually slept based on the markers that are registered. But it's important to know that while we sleep, our brain is doing the work that makes us effective. And when awake, consolidating memories, processing emotions, clearing metabolic waste. And all these help us, restore our decision-making capacity. Leaders who consistently sleep fewer than 7 hours, we know that, show cognitive impairment equivalent to legal intoxication. So yeah, there are still some parts, of us that might celebrate the hustle of sleepless nights, but strategic leaders protect their sleep like they protect their most important meetings, because sleep is an agreement and let's say an important meeting you have with yourself. This gives us spaciousness and steadiness. So think about, how are you doing? How's your bank account? How's your sleep account? Are you on plus or are you on minus? And is there anything that you need to work on to improve it? Very, very important. So let's move on to stress optimization. So we know very much that you can eat well, you can exercise, but if we don't manage stress, science shows us a lot that we age faster, and we are in trouble. So here's what many people get wrong about stress. They think that the goal is elimination, but stress is like fire. Think about it. It's dangerous when it's not controlled, but it's powerful when harnessed. And to be effective, we need to operate at an optimal stress level, which is different for everybody, but not zero stress. Because the difference between growth and burnout, depletion, is not the presence of absence of stress, it's the quality of our recovery. And strategic stress builds capacity, we know that, and performance improves when stress is paired with consistent restoration. Without recovery, that's the problem. Then it becomes consistent cognitive fatigue, poor judgment, and we know that 75% to 90% of primary visits to the GP are for stress-related symptoms with no clear physical cause. So self-regulation, emotional management, emotional digestion, these are very important things that you can start paying even more attention in case the stress stress management needs an upgrade in your life. I have my children now that are having exams, they're students, and oh, I have so much to do, Mama, and I don't have time, So take a moment of rest throughout the day. Take a moment, there is an app that we use, New Calm, which gives you a power nap of 20 minutes or whatever, reset. And of course, it took me time to convince them to try it. But once they tried, immediately they were having the energy back. So that's very important. Again, snacks throughout the day, also very important. Let's move to lifestyle substances. And this pillar, it's not about judgment or restriction. This is more about clarity and choice and protection, because alcohol and other substances influence every system that leadership depends on, like sleep quality, hormonal balance, inflammation levels, cognitive processing. So the question is not whether you consume, is whether you consume consciously. And I see that some clients use substances to manage stress, not realizing that they are creating the very problems they're trying to solve. So that's very important to have very clear on your intention, alignment, intention, and actions. And it's not about restriction, but it's about protection. Relationships. There is no leader that succeeds alone. Leadership is not a solo sport. Connection isn't just nice to have. We are wired this way. It's biologically essential. And supportive relationships literally buffers stress hormones, and it helps us to become more immune powerful. When leaders invest in these authentic relationships, they reduce overwhelm and they start creating more trust and loyalty and alignment. When we neglect relationships, we risk isolation. By the way, this is one of the biggest risks for cardiovascular conditions, the isolation. It's a deadly factor and also in poor decision-making and emotional fatigue. And when we focus only on our internal world, it can become very rich and we can become the owner of absolute truth, but we are further away from reality. So connecting with others also brings the reality check. If we don't, we become more inflexible and less adaptable. So very, very important. And think about how are you doing in this area? Because none of us succeeds alone. And relationships are the ecosystems that create clarity and resilience. And as I said, sound judgment. Purpose. It's our magnetic north. It's the direction that helps us to have steady decisions and focus and impact. And it strengthens our resilience and directs attention and gives meaning to our challenges that we face. Because it's not about just what we do, it's why we do things. That's our magnet to our decision. When we have a clear purpose, challenges become meaningful and setbacks become just learning, is information. Resistance that we see becomes information. When we don't have a clear purpose, we drift, we react, and we eventually burn out. This was for me years before, when I thought that I have to climb the corporate ladder, and this was actually externally borrowed. You need to find, what lights you up and find your purpose, because this will get you through the storms with more ease and grace. because purpose is not about eliminate difficulty, it transforms difficulty into meaning. And meaning, basically, think about it as the ultimate renewable energy source for us, and brings resilience in us and makes us stronger. That's an important one, natural rhythm. We live in a 24-hour, 24/7 world, but we are rhythmic beings. Our body has ancient wisdom about when to push and when to rest, when to create, when to reflect. And those of us leaders that honor their natural rhythms, sleep timing, energy peaks, creative cycles, it's different for everybody. We can tap them into this renewable source of vitality. And this innovation, we talk a lot about it, requires renewal. Creativity requires rest. Breakthrough thinking requires breakthrough from constant doing. So if we want to become really vital in a sustainable way, it's not fighting our rhythms, but dancing with them, if you like the metaphor. Let's talk about women's body. Women's body follow natural monthly rhythms, right? And respecting these cycles is essential for physical well-being, but also for powerful leadership. And we know that science shows us that during the luteal phase and early menstruation, hormone fluctuations can increase the risk of injuries and reduce stability. So this is a signal that they can honor by shifting towards more restorative movement, strategic reflection, maybe lower intensity tasks. But yeah, what are we doing? We are in 2025 and women work in high intensity jobs. So the goal is not to rearrange the entire workload around the menstrual cycle, but to build micro adjustments that protect performance and well-being. So again, during this luteal phase, when inflammation is higher, resilience is lower, women leaders can prioritize shorter recovery breaks. Maybe we can be smarter with the boundaries, maybe a more structured presentation preparation for demanding tasks. This might mean doing the same work, but with a different energy strategy. Clearer agendas, maybe stronger delegation, slower transitions between meetings, maybe focusing more on accuracy versus speed. When we have higher energy phases, then you can capitalize on naturally increased focus, verbal fluency, and stamina. So even small shifts like adapting workout intensity, nourishing differently the body, eating differently can help stabilize the hormones and boost resilience. Very, very important. So especially in fast-paced environments, self-awareness becomes this leadership advantage I was talking about. So these are the 8 pillars. Take a look again. Where are you doing well? And where is the time, where is one, choose one where you want to bring it up to the next level. Very important. All right. Again, if you want to see again how these pillars are linked to leadership skills, and if you want to work on some leadership skills more, look what are the pillars that you want to improve as well. So let's look the attitudes, because we talk about the pillars, but how we approach them, how we approach our vitality is equally important. And these are based on Jon Kabat-Zinn's principles in mindfulness. What you do is important. How you do it, it's even more. If you are stressed out trying to eat the perfect meal for you, you will not digest well and absorb the nutrients of eating on the go. So cultivating attitudes like kindness to yourself, very, very important. Less judgment when you don't do it well, when you get off the wagon, being a supporter for yourself, and it's very, very important. Less judgment and more self-supporting in creating habits to support you. Very important. You need courage as well, because you will try maybe new things that you haven't tried before. You will need courage because you will face parts of yourself. Like with me, I realized 20 something years ago, I had a very strong inner critic, and I had to learn healing, but also learning to respect that inner critic and learning to cohabitate with it, because it helped me to be very successful. It was not necessary anymore, and it was, it came with a job to do, let's put it this way. But being kind in dealing with this can help us. So changing the attitudes on our journey of leadership and vitality, it's very, very important. Let's move on because we are going out of time. I would like to show you the leadership vitality loop. This, again, it's not a linear process vitality, it's a living system where each element reinforces or depletes the other. So when we lead from vitality, we create a regenerative loop of trust, of clarity, of energy. And this is reflected in our behavior. It's reflected in the system around us. And we will be fed or not with energy, because what we put in, we get it back. Right? We know about the vital signs of ecosystem health. Then trust begins always in our nervous system. When we are calm, others can think better in our presence, and this fosters physiological and psychological safety in our teams and with others. And let's look at trust and the others. Large cohort studies show that when leadership quality and fairness are high, literally people around you sleep better. So it's not only about you taking care of yourself, but when you show up at your best, the other people sleep better. We have a study, what I think 2023 Nordic study it's called, where people sleep better when their leaders, when the leaders show up with a better quality. So when we recover well, we model calm consistency. Then let's look at clarity and cadence. When we rest and we are cognitively sharper, we are better in communication, and we communicate with precision. We set clear boundaries and priorities and have a rhythm that doesn't bring confusion to people. So think about clarity as kindness, because you help others by being clear to stay focused. This influences also the energy of people, and because energy stewardship prevents burnout. For coaches, you look at having balanced client load. For leaders, you look at sustainable team tempo. And finally, learning and adaptability. Think about the more resilient you are and the stronger emotional bandwidth from stress management, the better the reflection and experimentation will be. And regulated leaders, we know they respond to challenges with curiosity and rather than defensiveness, and then they induce a learning environment where people can learn and can experiment. So to sum up, this is what we went quite fast, given the time. Today, we talk about the triad of vitality and how they connect with each other, the 8 vitality pillars. We showed how the state, your state as a leader, influenced the team, the organization, and the relationship with clients. The vitality loop, what you put in comes towards you, right? And this influence, the trust you create, the clarity, and so on. And the most important thing that I want to leave you is, what's your attitude? Think about the vitality attitude that you bring to yourself. What changes in your presence? Think about it, and what changes around you? What's the energy that you bring into the room? Because leadership is not only about what you do, but it's about who you are. So again, which pillar needs your attention right now? And I wish you all the best. Choose one pillar, do your vitality audit, create your plan. And remember, Pareto works also here. 80% of your results come from 20% of your effort. So be strategic where you put your energy. Okay. If you're interested and you want leadership vitality self-assessment, just drop me an email here and I'll be happy to send it to you. And I wish you all the best. I took a little bit more, Elena, of your time. Thank you so much for holding the space for me. Any questions to finalize this?
It has been such a pleasure hosting you today, Catalina, and listening to all of this wisdom that you shared with us.
Thank you.
I see your offer here for ways to continue working together. So for everyone listening to this presentation, you can take a note of Catalina's contact details. It's been a true pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. And just by raise of hand, do you have more clarity right now and on how to move forward? And I was wondering, how's your plan going to life? Is it anything that will change as a result of this time together? You can put it in the chat, or you can say, yeah, Elena.
I'll be very happy to share, if I may. One thing was very evident for my leadership presence, and this is something I have been thinking about for a while, but simply need to work around my schedule in order to prioritize it. One of the pillars that you mentioned was around building relationships. I used to prioritize this way back in my career, and I've seen it work in wonders with just like the Pareto you pointed out, with 20% effort, I used to get so much more done. For me, a clear focus going forward would be to continue focusing on building relationships.
Yeah, wonderful. And I see also in the chat, thank you so much. And first of all, Elena, thank you so much for sharing this and wishing all the best in priorities and relationships and creating relationships to feed you back. And I set an alarm to make me stand up and move at least 5 minutes every hour. Well done, Jonathan. That's great. That's great. More of the snacks. Emotion is created by motion. Thank you so much. And to those that will watch the replay, wishing you all the best. And I hope that you got lots of value in creating your plan. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you, Catalina. Take care. And we look forward to the pleasure of hosting you again in the future.